Some plugins can output audio to multiple mixer tracks in FL Studio. For example, Kontakt, which can load up to 64 instruments at a time, can output audio on one mixer track or all the way up to 16 different mixer tracks. Multiple outputs are very useful since you'll most likely want different instruments in a plugin like Kontakt to have different mixing and effects. Here I've loaded up 4 different world instruments, each on their own MIDI channel. It's important to understand that MIDI channels are not the same thing as audio outputs. You can have 16 instruments on 16 different MIDI channels, all going to the same audio output. For example, I'll play a layer of these 4 instruments combined, each of which is on a different MIDI channel. Notice how in the mixer, only one track is active. To configure multiple outs for a plugin, first look in the plugin's interface for a way to switch which output is being used. In Kontakt, you can see this right above the MIDI channel selector labeled Output. I'll keep my first 2 instruments on ST1, or Stereo Output 1, and put the second 2 instruments on ST2. There's one more step. Go to the wrapper settings for the plugin, then click Processing and Auto Map Outputs. When I play the first 2 instruments now, I can see Kontakt outputting audio to the mixer track labeled Kontakt 1. But if I play the other instruments, the audio is now on the next track in the mixer sequentially. I'll label that Kontakt 2. If I were to use the third output in Kontakt, it would go to the next mixer track, and so forth. As I've been saying throughout the course, organization is important. So I recommend that if you're using multiple outputs, to label your mixer appropriately. It's a bit of a pain, but it really does help. Also, though I'm using Kontakt as an example, many plugins have multiple output capability. They're sometimes called multi-timbral, but that term is also used to describe a plugin that loads multiple instruments. So I think it's just easier to say that the plugin has multiple outputs or it doesn't. As a quick refresher on mixer routing, you may want to route all of a plugin's outputs to one mixer track so you can adjust them all at once. I'll select Kontakt 1, disable output to the master track, and instead route it to Insert 4. I'll rename that to Kontakt Mix, and then I'll do the same with Kontakt 2 and 3. This is an ideal setup since it allows total control over each instrument's effects, but also lets you process the entire plugin output.